From red carpets to criminal courtrooms, some of the biggest stars in the world have fallen from grace in the most shocking ways. We're talking about celebrities who went from Hollywood fame to headline-making crimes. Their faces once graced magazine covers, but now their names are tied to scandal, violence, and betrayal. Let's start with the Michael Jace. Michael Jace was once a rising star, known for playing the brooding, complex officer on The Shield. A man admired for his on-screen intensity, but behind closed doors, a dark secret was brewing, one that would lead to one of Hollywood's most chilling crimes. In 2014, the world was shocked when the man who played a protector of the law became a murderer in real life. What drove Michael Jace, a father and husband, to commit such a horrifying act? Was it years of bottled-up rage or something far more sinister? Michael Jace's performances on The Shield won him acclaim for portraying morally conflicted characters. But as his career soared, his personal life began to unravel. Financial struggles, a tumultuous marriage, and alleged violent tendencies painted a far darker picture than his fans ever imagined. On May 19, 2014, Michael Jace committed an unthinkable act. In their Los Angeles home, during a heated argument, he shot his wife, April Jace, twice in the legs and once fatally. The most horrifying part: it happened in front of their two young sons, aged 8 and 5. April, a devoted mother and avid runner, had reportedly endured years of emotional turmoil in their marriage. But no one could have predicted this tragic end. Michael Jace didn't run. In fact, he called his father-in-law himself, confessing to the murder. His calm demeanor sent chills through investigators. His father-in-law later called 911. At his trial, Jace's defense argued that he acted out of momentary rage, but the jury saw it different. Convicted of second-degree murder, he was sentenced to 40 years to life in prison. His children, now orphans in all but name, will carry the scars of that night forever. Johnny Lewis, talented, charming, and a star on the rise. Known for his role in Sons of Anarchy, he had everything going for him. In 2012, the actor's promising career came to an abrupt and horrifying end when Johnny Lewis brutally murdered his 81-year-old landlady, Catherine Davis, before falling to his death. What could have driven this rising star to such a violent and tragic act? With roles in The O.C., Criminal Minds, and Sons of Anarchy, Johnny Lewis was poised to be Hollywood's next big name. His talent was undeniable, and fans loved his gritty, complex performances. But behind the scenes, Johnny was fighting battles no one could see. By 2011, Johnny's personal life had begun to unravel. Struggles with mental health, substance abuse, and run-ins with the law painted a grim picture of an actor spiraling out of control. On September 26, 2012, chaos erupted in Los Angeles. Johnny Lewis was living in a small apartment rented to him by Catherine Davis, a beloved 81-year-old woman known for helping struggling artists. But that morning, neighbors heard horrifying screams. When police arrived, they found Catherine Davis dead, beaten, and strangled. Her cat had also been killed in a similarly violent manner. Authorities discovered Johnny's lifeless body in the driveway. He had fallen or jumped from the rooftop. But why? What triggered such an unthinkable act? This was no random act of violence. Johnny's loved ones described him as a kind, thoughtful person before his decline, but the investigators uncovered chilling details. Johnny had been battling severe mental health issues, and just 5 days before the incident, he'd been released from jail. Toxicology reports showed no drugs or alcohol in his system, leading many to believe his actions were the result of an undiagnosed psychotic break. Oscar Pistorius, celebrated worldwide as the Blade Runner, was once hailed as a beacon of hope and a trailblazer for athletes with disabilities. With his prosthetic legs, he broke barriers in the Paralympic Games and inspired millions around the globe. His story was one of perseverance, strength, and triumph over adversity. But in 2013, everything changed. Pistorius's image as a hero was shattered when he was charged with the murder of his girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp, turning his name into one of the most infamous in sports history. How did a global inspiration become a convicted killer? This is the story of Oscar Pistorius and the tragic death of his girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp. Born without fibulas, Oscar Pistorius underwent double amputation as a baby, but refused to let that define him. Pistorius became a Paralympic champion, even competing against able-bodied athletes in the Olympics, a feat that made history. But on February 14, 2013, South Africa woke up to devastating news. Riva Steenkamp, a beloved model and law graduate, was dead, shot through a locked bathroom door in Pistorius's home. The shooter? Her boyfriend, Oscar Pistorius. Pistorius claimed he mistook Riva for an intruder, firing 4 shots in what he said was a panic. But prosecutors argued otherwise, painting a chilling picture of a jealous and volatile volatile man. The courtroom became a media spectacle. Pistorius broke down in tears as details of that fateful night unfolded. Ballistic evidence, witness testimonies, and emotional recollections created a narrative filled with twists and turns. Initially, Pistorius was convicted of culpable homicide, essentially manslaughter, but public outrage pushed the case to South Africa's Supreme Court, where the verdict was overturned and upgraded to murder. In 2017, Oscar Pistorius was sentenced to almost 11 years. He has been released on parole as of January 5, 2024, after serving nearly 11 years for the murder of his girlfriend, Reva Steenkamp. Suge Knight was the kingmaker of gangster rap, the man behind legends like Tupac Shakur, Dr. Dre, and Snoop Dogg. But behind the swagger and success lay a storm of chaos, violence, and crime. In the early 90s, Suge Knight was untouchable. Co-founding Death Row Records, he helped define an era of hip-hop, producing some of the most iconic albums of all time. From Dr. Dre's The Chronic to Tupac's All Eyes on Me, Suge was at the helm of a cultural revolution. But while his record label thrived, Suge's tactics behind the scenes were anything but ordinary. Intimidation, violence, and legal troubles followed him everywhere. In 2015, this dark reputation came to a dramatic peak. During an argument on the set of Straight Outta Compton, Knight escalated the conflict to a fatal level. Surveillance footage revealed the harrowing moment he used his truck to mow down two men, killing Terry Carter and severely injuring Clee Bone Sloan. The act was chilling, showcasing a disregard for life that shocked even those familiar with his history. Knight claimed he acted in self-defense, but the incident painted a vivid picture of his volatility and violent tendencies. This event solidified his legacy not just as a music mogul, but as a symbol of unchecked aggression and tragic consequences. Knight claimed it was self-defense, but prosecutors argued it was murder. Faced with damning evidence, he ultimately pleaded no contest to voluntary manslaughter. Prosecutors justified the high bail by highlighting his history of alleged extortion and other criminal activities. His bail was set at a staggering $25 million. Suge fainted and needed medical attention, but ultimately argued the amount was excessive. This dramatic moment underscored his contentious legal battle. Today, Suge Knight is serving a 28-year sentence in a California prison. Once a towering figure in the music industry, he's now a cautionary tale of power gone unchecked. Aaron Hernandez, once a rising star in the NFL, celebrated for his plays on the field, became one of the most shocking cautionary tales in sports history. From scoring touchdowns to facing life in prison, Aaron Hernandez's story is one of unimaginable twists, legal battles, and heartbreak. Let's dive into the shocking journey that left the world stunned. Behind the scenes, Hernandez struggled with anger issues, allegations of gang affiliations, and a past riddled with violence. In June 2013, everything changed. Odin Lloyd, a semi-pro football player and friend of Hernandez, was found shot to death. Lloyd's body was found near Hernandez's Massachusetts home, and a wealth of evidence, including text messages and surveillance footage, tied Hernandez to the crime. Prosecutors argued that Hernandez orchestrated the murder after a dispute with Lloyd. Despite his defense team's efforts, he was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without parole. During his imprisonment, more shocking revelations surfaced. Hernandez was linked to a 2012 double homicide and faced allegations of gang ties. But in April 2017, just days after being acquitted of the double murder, Aaron Hernandez was found dead in his prison cell, left with a death note. An autopsy revealed he suffered from chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, a brain condition often associated with football players due to repeated head trauma. This revelation reignited debates about the impact of CTE on behavior and mental health. These stories remind us that fame can be fleeting, and the darker side of celebrity is often just as captivating. If you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories, and leave a comment with your thoughts on these shocking downfalls. Until next time, stay tuned for more.